Toronto home prices just hit a 5-year low. Sales are down 20% and homes are sitting on the market for over 2 months on average. And somehow, thousands of homeowners are about to make their worst financial decisions of their lives. They're going to sell their house in this market. Hello everyone, my name is Houtan. I've helped hundreds of my clients sell their home in good and bad markets. In today's video, I'm going to give you the reasons why selling your Toronto and Ontario home in 2026 could cost you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whether you're thinking about selling your home or just stressed out about this market, watch this video till the end before you make your decision. Before we get into the reasons, let me tell you what's going on really in the market as of early 2026. The GTA benchmark home prices has fallen to $936,000. That's the lowest it's been since January 2021, and it's the 8th straight monthly decline. The average home is now selling about 3 to 4% below asking price and sitting on the market for an average of 67 days. Compare that to 55 days last year. And here's the kicker. Experts are projecting prices will fall another 4.5% before this year is out. Now that doesn't mean Toronto real estate is done. Far from it. But it does mean that if you're listing your home in this environment, you're working against the market. So let's get into the reasons you should hold off, starting with the most important one. The single worst time to sell any assets, stocks, a business, or a property is when everyone else is also panicking and selling at the same time. Right now, Toronto has a flood of inventory hitting the market, and on the other side, a small amount of very cautious buyers who have all the negotiation power. Every negotiation in the eye of buyer is a fire sale, and you gotta be prepared for that really lowball offer. The question you need to ask yourself is my reason to sell is so urgent that it's worth leaving potentially $50, $80, or even $100,000 on the table compared to what you could get in a healthier market? For most people, the answer is no. The number two reason is that buyers are dictating the terms. They're asking for price cuts, extended closing periods, full home inspection conditions, credit for repairs. Some are even asking sellers to cover the closing costs. In a balanced market, you would laugh at those kind of requests. In today's market, sellers are accepting them because they have no other choice. The moment you list that for sale sign in your front lawn, you're signaling to every buyer that, oh, I need to get out and I need to sell. And they will use that against you at the negotiation table. Right now, there is trade uncertainty between Canada and the US that is making everybody very uncomfortable. Every day we're hearing something new that is causing more anxiety and stress about the economy. A lot of jobs in the southern Ontario are connected to US for trades, and when people are worried about their job, they're not gonna go out and buy their most expensive thing that they buy in their lifetime. Buyers aren't broke, they're just scared. And scared buyers are not gonna pay top dollar. They're gonna lowball, they hesitate, and they're gonna walk away if there's something wrong. Here's what you need to know. This is temporary. Once trade clarity returns and a couple of good news from the media comes out, and we'll see that pent-up buyer demand comes rushing back into the market. You wanna be selling into that market. I already mentioned the numbers, but I really want to specify this for you. The average GTA home price have dipped below $1 million for the first time in 5 years. If you bought your home during the 2021-2022 boom, and a lot of Toronto homeowners did, you could be looking at selling for less than what your neighbors paid just a few years ago. That's not just leaving money on the table. In some cases, that's taking a real loss after you factor in your purchase price, renovation, transaction costs, right? The market moved against you temporarily. Locking in that loss is a permanent mistake. Here is what the doom and gloom headlines don't tell you. Almost every major economist covering the Canadian housing market is forecasting a recovery. It's just a matter of when. CIBC's deputy chief economist has gone on record saying he expects nice recovery in 2027. Treb is also projecting that if economic confidence improves in the second half of 2026, we're going to see the pent-up demand from the last several years again could start getting satisfied and come into the market. If you sell now, you miss that rebound entirely. You lock in today's low price and then watch helplessly as the market recovers without you. Patience right now is the right strategy. This one catches a lot of people off guard. They're so focused on the idea of selling that they haven't thought about the next step. If you sell your home right now, what's the plan? Are you renting, buying something smaller, moving cities, upsizing, downsizing? Because here's the thing. If your plan is to buy another property in the GTA, you're going to be buying in the same market you're selling in. So yes, your next home is going to be cheaper too, but you got to make sure your math works and it's to your advantage. And if you're renting, yes, Toronto rents have gone down, but you still need to be cautious because you could easily spend $3,000 to $4,000 a month waiting for that right time to buy back in. That's the money that you'll never see again, and then you end up eating into that your future down payment money. So selling without a proper next step is a big mistake. And before you decide on selling your house, you need to have a clear plan for your next step. If you locked in a fixed mortgage rates back in 2020, 2021, or even early 2022, you have a much better rate than what you would get right now. Rates have come down from their peak, yes, but they're nowhere near those historic lows. The moment you sell and re-enter the market, you're stepping into a higher carrying cost environment. If you own a condo and you're thinking about selling, I need you to hear this clearly. Toronto's condo market is dealing with a glut right now. There are more units available than there are buyers to absorb them. Some studios and one bedrooms have fallen below $400,000, and that's unheard of. For the first time in years, the oversupply hasn't been worked through yet. Until that inventory clears, condo sellers are in a race to the bottom, and that is one race you don't want to enter. If you can hold on to your condo, even you rent it out, that is almost certainly a better move than selling into this environment. Now I want to be straight with you because there is no one-size-fits-all answer. There are situations where selling right now makes sense. If you're going through divorce, if you've had a serious job loss, if you're an estate sale, and if you need to relocate for work, life happens. And sometimes you don't have the luxury of timing the market. What I'm talking about today is the person who's thinking about selling, who's feeling that anxiety of watching the market dip and is tempted to cut their losses before it even gets worse. That is the person I want to reach out, because for that person, waiting is almost always the right call. But if you need to sell, there are strategies for that as well, which I will cover in my next video. If you're sitting on the fence about selling right now, I want you to do one thing before you make any decision. Get a real, honest, no pressure assessment of your specific home and your specific situation. Not a generic market update, a real conversation about what your property is worth today, what it could be worth in 12 to 14 months, and what your actual options are. That's exactly what I do. The link to book a free call is right in the description below. And if this video helped you think about your situation differently, give it a like, share it with someone who's thinking about selling, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video of how to actually sell your home in this market. I'll see you then.